I was talking about the idea of a chalk revolution, the idea of literally smashing the schools down, shutting them down tomorrow morning, letting all the kids go, releasing them back into the community, teaching a lot of academic subjects via 21st century technologies, and the rest of it, teaching it by trained professionals, having our religious education happen in religious institutions, having our social welfare and psychological healing and help happen with qualified people in qualified places, with the right surroundings. And also, more importantly, and most importantly, allowing the flexibility and freedom of 21st century life to enter families. Let them choose when kids go to school, how and where. Let them choose what times of day are going to be maths times of day and English times of day, as opposed to having that determined by a very loud bell. So my idea was that, in a nutshell, revolution. There's lots and lots of revolution in the air at the moment. Half of the Mideast is collapsing daily. And what that made me feel was excited. The same kind of excitement I see when I talk to young people at school. That sort of real bloodlust that a lot of adults forget. That kind of run headlong at something, and I'm going to live forever, so I don't care what happens to me. And when you see the faces of the people in Tahrir Square, and you think that you see what's happening there with the Tahrir kindergarten, where people step back and set up a space for kids to just learn and be there, I see that again. And it's the kind of thing that I'd probably have to be explaining to space aliens about humanity if they landed. I'd have to say, look, this is a thing humanity has. And I think we've forgotten it in terms of schooling, and I think it's time we got it back. Homeschooling is what produced the author of Aragon and lots of other fun. Homeschooling is a gated community approach to education. And what I'm suggesting is, in fact, an open door community approach. Move the kids back into the community. Shut down the school gates and have them, if you like, en masse, bleed out into those things we call parks, or those places we call libraries or churches or other public spaces. The public should not be afraid of its youth, and the youth should not be told to be afraid of the public. It's a wrong scenario, and I think it's about time we changed it. It is very heartening to come to an event like this and see lots and lots of people who have very interesting ideas of what's going on in the world. The Rangan talking about the one laptop per child just before me, I was blown away by, and I'd love to be a part of that. Kath Keenan's chat about the Australian story, the reading story stuff, that looks fantastic and wonderful. Anything that looks at the world as it is, says I'm not happy and I want to change it radically. Look, at an event like this, you're going to get a lot of marketing chat, and that's great, and that's very important, but I'm not entirely sure how that changes the world. I think it absolutely maximises profits, and it puts people who make profits in a better emotional position, and that's great, but it didn't free Egypt, and it won't free Libya, and it won't get my little 3.5 daughter the kind of teenage years that are really different from mine. And if I'm not doing that, then what are we doing? And I think a lot of the speakers today were really taking that head on and doing some great stuff with that. I'm a huge fan of violence. I'm a huge fan of change. I'm a huge fan of anger. I think that the best things in life happen when you combine mind and heart. And a lot of what I see in 21st century governance around the world is almost exclusively neural or exclusively emotional. And you end up with either the Tea Party or the Obama administration. And no offence to Barack, look, I've got his T-shirt, I've got 2 of his coffee mugs, and I've got a garden gnome shaped like Barack Obama, but that's just not good enough for me. And you know what? I don't forget, because I see it every day, what it was like to not accept not good enough. To be 16 and go, no, half is not enough. You know what I mean? I'm not I don't have a crush, I'm madly in love. I'm not mildly disconcerted, I'm really angry. And an essay is 10 minutes late. It's not 10 minutes late because I couldn't be bothered, it's 10 minutes late for an achingly long story of heartache and pain and misery. And I wonder, when I look at that every day, I think that's what we should be doing with our lives. That's what life is, and we should be nurturing it wherever we see it.
You think Circus goes some way towards that?
Look, I really think it does. There's a lot of movers and shakers in this building. There are a lot of people who are going to have a big say in what's read, what's worn, what's looked at in terms of media in the next 2 to 5 years, depending on how well they do in their careers. And it's important that those people are constantly reminded that there is a world outside their office, and that world is not populated by them. And I think that it's a credit to the Communications Council and the people who put this together that they want that. They want to seek out diverse opinions, aggressive opinions, differing opinions that might seem to have nothing to do with what they do day to day. If you've got nothing but car clients, what do you care if schools get, changed? But you'll care when you're hiring next year, and you'll care 5 years from now when 25-year-olds are buying cars. You'll want to know what kind of person is buying this car. So I think they do a great job.